Hi, everybody. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Savannah.
We are back this week and are ready to go and talk about online campaigns.
Mhm.
We have a lot going on right now. We got some campaigns going on, some ramping up, getting ready to go, and a lot of organizations are doing online campaigns all throughout the year. And it's just a really great time to talk about it. I was wondering, we could start off the conversation talking about the basics. You have your development director, someone on the team that's getting this online campaign ready. They're the one managing it. Can you talk a little bit about what their role is during the online campaign? I know that we're used to seeing them in one specific role, but sometimes that kind of changes and morphs into something else for online campaigns. And I was wondering if you could just touch on it a little bit.
Sure, yeah. Thanks. We love online campaigns because they just make nonprofits really happy because they're not as much work as events are, and yet can often net a similar amount or more in some cases. So, but the hardest thing for a development director to do in that role is usually to become the cheerleader. In other spaces, they are the ones doing the asking. They are the ones, on the front line and all. And our most successful online campaigns are those where they cultivate a group of people to do the asking. And so it's like training in a way or cheering them on. And so what that means is, they need to conduct a kickoff meeting with them, talk
Mhm.
about their why, how do they talk about this organization, give them some communication tools, to help them do some asking. And then the most successful ones are the ones where a development director takes, or executive director if it's a small organization, takes a step back, and they're the ones behind that kind of army of volunteers who we love to call champions. And
Right.
they're behind the scenes cheering them on, and pushing them. And inevitably, we'll see that person jump out in front and start fundraising, and sharing their own thing and just doing it. I'm like, no, 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 go back, And so that's a really hard role sometimes, harder than you would think to do. But there's some very specific things. If it's not coming easily to you, there's some really specific things that the development director can do to be a cheerleader. Savannah, you work with a lot of our clients on that. I know we both know these, but like, share some of those exact examples of what that means when the development director is cheering on a group of fundraising champions.
Yeah, I think it first starts with the feeling that you're going to be a part of this exclusive group. So, the development director or whoever is in charge of kind of leading this group of people is making them feel like they're being honored. It's exclusive. It's really something that not everyone is going to have an opportunity to do. It's just special. So that way, when someone's coming in, they think it's a big deal, they're important, and they're going to feel special in doing this for them. So that's the first thing that they can do. Then they can highlight them. So spend time before the campaign starts, throughout the campaign, posting on their own social media saying, "Hey, check out what this champion is doing this week," or "We're so excited that this person is going to be leading the way during this campaign," something like that, to highlight them and make them be seen on their own social media platforms. Something else they can do is incentives. So, providing a little bit of motivation. Those things can be little rewards, from gift cards to apparel, whatever you want to offer to them that you think is going to motivate them to raise a little bit more money. And we
Mhm.
also talked about group text. So, it might seem like they need to spend 45 minutes each day coming up with this formal email to communicate with them. And that's not always the case. Putting together a group text of all your fundraisers, your champions, and shooting a quick text, super informal, saying, "Hey, so and so just hit $500." And then everybody else can start communicating within that group text, just to make it have a little bit of that camaraderie and having some fun that way. And then the last thing is that if you see someone struggling, so you're about a week in, you're 2 weeks in, you notice there's a few stragglers down there that have not really gotten in and fundraised much. It's your job to kind of spend time one on one, call them, reach out to them personally, and
Mhm.
make sure that they get the help that they need. And I know, Brooke, you have a personal story about that. Do you want to mention it?
I do, yeah, and at the core of all of that, I want to is make sure that just it's fun and to be very positive, lots of positivity around it, and all. And then most people will want to do it again, or their friends will. In the case of those that struggle, sometimes people just don't realize their network. And I know a story of a fundraiser where the development director sat down with that person and said, "How can I help?" And they were ready to quit. They're like, I can't do it. I don't have a strong network." And that development director knew she did have a strong network, and showed her the list of previous year donors and said, "Look at all these people who donated last year." And
Yep.
she's like, "Oh, I know them. I know them." And she knew all of them. And before she left, all of those people had been emailed by her. And before she knew it, that person had met their personal goal and became really the biggest advocate for that campaign, because
Yeah.
it became a really fulfilling experience for that particular fundraiser, who just didn't see her own she just didn't see it, her
Yeah.
own network and what that network could or would do, just which was shocking to anybody who knows her. But she didn't see it. And the development director just pointed that out by showing her some names from the previous year and helping point her in the direction of her network. And it proved to be a great long term, actually, connection for that both of them. So, yeah, there can be some people just don't quite know
And they
what to
just need
do.
a
So,
push, a little
need a
bit of a
push,
push.
gentle
Getting
push.
started sometimes is the hardest part. So once you get
Yeah,
them started,
yeah.
then really the ball starts rolling and they're able to kind of pick it up
But if
after.
you find yourself, I would just say to a if you find yourself sharing your own personal fundraising page a lot and being the top fundraiser of an online campaign, you probably need to take a step back
Yeah.
and motivate somebody else and and multiply yourself through the champions. I just cannot say that enough.
Yep.
Multiply yourself through the champions. That is also the sign of a sustainable campaign that can be sustained without you.
Yes.
Which is
And that's what
important
you
also.
want. You're not
Mhm,
taking on that fundraising role as much anymore with those campaigns, right?
mhm,
You're
right.
you're more of that cheerleader.
Cheering them on. So, yeah, we'd love to help. We've got a lot of tools around that, I know,
Sure do.
but here's to great online campaigns. Thanks,
Yes.
Savannah. Great question.
Oh, thanks, Brooke. Everybody have a good Friday.
Bye.
Bye.